All right, we are here today, ladies and gentlemen, at the Judson Women's Leadership Conference, and we are sitting with probably one of the few men that'll be here today. Mr. John Phillips, how are you, sir?
I'm doing very well.
Excellent, excellent. So what brings you here today? I mean, this is a women's conference. Be careful.
Yeah, I need to select my words.
Yes.
Yeah. So no, I'm here to help. I'm here to give some advice and coaching and mentoring to some of the young ladies that are in search of a job.
Okay.
So how do you interview? How do you go about finding your next life? And my specific area of interest is veteran women.
And you've got quite a background yourself with a military background, and you're working on a book. You started a business. You have a lot of things going on here.
I do. I got a lot going on.
Yeah.
So I'm retired Army. So I spent 20 years in the Army, and I just you're very well. I wish I could still do it. I also just retired from the Coca-Cola Company. I was there for 17 years as a finance director. And I've written a book called Boots to Loafers, Finding Your New True North.
Boots to Loafers.
Which is really, it's a culmination of my experience when I transitioned out of the military and into the corporate world. And it really kind of is a process that you can go through to make a very effective transition out of the military and into the private sector. Right. So it includes things like, how do you write a resume? What types of interviews will you face? How do you prepare for an interview? Right. How do you do research on what kind of company or what kind of work do you want to do when you actually make that transition? And then the back half of the book talks a lot about benefits, which in the military it's one size fits all.
Right.
Everybody gets the same health care. Everybody gets the same everything.
Yes.
So it's very different when you get out, where you get, I can remember when I retired and I had to pick what health care plan I wanted. I didn't even know what an HMO was. I didn't need to know.
Yes. Yeah.
So it explains things like that to the military person, so when they sit at the table and they get an offer letter, they understand their benefits and they understand what is actually being offered to them to bring them into work. So it was my way to pay it forward because I never had that benefit.
Right.
So I learned all of this over the course of my career at Coke, and I put it all in writing.
And I think you make a powerful point. You know, I can recall when we transitioned out of the military, and the first time that I moved, actually having to pick up the phone and call a moving company. And that may sound simple, but, like you said, when you're used to having those things and everyone kind of gets the same thing, it's quite a transition. Tell us a little bit about your concern for female veterans and what you are looking to do to help them.
Well, my concern is the feeling I'm getting in talking with a lot of them, they feel like they don't count. They feel like their time in the service wasn't valued because they weren't a shooter. So they weren't on the front line doing their thing. The truth of the matter is for every shooter, there's 11 people behind them that are support in a support role. So think of it in basic terms. If you don't get your beans and bullets, you're not functioning. You're not eating and you're not shooting. Well, there's 11 people back there that are making that happen. Right. So what I really want to try and do is bring in the female veterans that are out there, get them off the sidelines, get them up front, and help coach, teach, and mentor them so they can be successful, just like everybody else is when they're making that transition out of the military, and get them up front and get them a job. Find them, make sure they have the right skills and the right thought process to get at the table when for interviews and get a job.
Excellent, excellent. And you mentioned your former military, retired, full career, and a military brat, so you just bleed green.
I do. I bleed green. It's green.
It's green. That's great. Well, as you have mentioned, you've had 2 careers, and now you've started your own business and so forth. And you're here today to help, empower, encourage. So we thank you so much for joining us, and best of luck to you.
Thank you.
And hooah.
Hooah.
You